Over the years, I have given presentations to creative agencies as well as creative students. And the one question I always got is what paper features or properties should they consider when starting a new project for a client? Well, I always tell them every project has a perfect tool, and the same is true for paper. I tell them the challenge is understanding the features that creatives need to account for compared to the print process or industry application. Meaning, are you printing digital, offset, flexo, etc.? Well, not only can this understanding help creatives maximize the performance of their print project, but it also creates a more collaborative relationship with your print provider. I'll look at a few key features or properties creatives should look at when specifying the right paper for their print project. So, hang in with me here, and let's get into it. Creatives cannot just think about how your printed piece needs to look. They also must think about how the piece will function, how much the piece will be handled, and if it will be exposed to the elements, say like a magazine might be. I'll give you an example. Let's say the piece you are creating will be written on. Well, for example, then you may want to avoid a glossy coated stock. If the piece might be in the elements where it could get wet, you will want to opt for a supplemental coating, say like a UV coating, that are resistant to water. Is the end piece you are designing, does it need to be folded and opened quite a bit? Well, the list goes on and on. However, once you figure out the functionality of your printed piece, well then you can move on to the other considerations. And with that, there are several key features or properties of paper the creatives should consider for any project. So, let's move on and see what they are. The first set of key features are the paper thickness and weight. Thickness and weight of paper go hand in hand, as together they determine how sturdy and durable the paper will be. A thicker paper with a higher weight will be able to stand up to more handling and wear and tear than a paper of lower weight or less thickness. Not only that, but the tactile nature of a thicker paper provides a more substantial feel and can actually enhance the perceived value and quality of your piece. Thicker paper also offers the opportunity to incorporate a wider variety of post-processing features like die cutting, embossing, and foil stamping without the worry of it bleeding through. Two other key properties or features are brightness and opacity. The brightness of your paper affects how readable the piece will be. Higher brightness usually means greater readability. This is due to the fact that there is a greater contrast with the darker inks. Ink also appears more vibrant than those printed on a paper with less brightness, which actually can run the risk of dulling and muddying the colors visually. Now, with the opacity, creators must consider the transparency of your printed pieces or how much print will show through from the front side of the piece to the back. With any project, it is important to keep in mind that the higher the opacity, the greater the ink coverage can be, which results in lower risk of print show-through on the printed piece. X and opaque text fulfills this task awesomely. The other two key properties are the type of paper. There are two types of paper, coated and uncoated. With uncoated paper, you are provided with a better non-glaring surface to read and write on. The ink, when printed, absorbs into the structure of the sheet better than a coated paper, in which the ink sits more on the surface. Coated paper, on the other hand, is more difficult to write on because it is usually coated with a clay, titanium, or calcium carbonate material that has been transferred to the substrate and all held together with a binder. Let's think of a best-selling book versus a magazine. A book publisher knows, or would like to figure anyway, that you read a book for an extended period of time, so they will use uncoated paper that is easy on the eyes. A magazine, however, needs the text and images to pop off the page, plus they need the magazine to be tough due to the reader rolling it up and shoving it into a bag, etc. So a coated paper is the answer for a magazine, plus the publisher knows you don't read a magazine for a prolonged period of time. Thus, the high brightness and glossiness is not an issue for the magazine producer. The last features creators should be looking at is sustainability. Today, there has never been a greater push towards sustainability. In fact, 78% of consumers consider sustainability to be important, and 84% report that poor environmental practices will alienate them from a brand or a company. Finally, you also need to take into consideration the affordability of your paper choice and its accompanying features. For example, while a heavier, more expensive stock may cost more up front, but it can pay off in the end, however, by providing a more durable product that can withstand wear and tear and project a high-quality printed piece. You know, that doesn't mean that standard papers are ineffective for your print projects. Not at all. Just that you have to consider everything: function, coating, thickness, opacity, printed quantities, and the end use of the printed piece. This will ensure you're setting yourself up and your clients for success and the best return on investment. With these features or properties in mind, creatives will be well equipped to have a more productive conversation with their print partners and their clients about the ideal paper for their commercial print project. You know, rather than just looking at a swatch book, knowing all about the paper you finally choose is particularly important. This foundational understanding of paper can help you save time and money, as well as create a high-quality printed piece that best showcases the creativity and ingenuity of your design. Okay, so I hope these tips help you now and in the future. And if you are interested in more paper information, be sure to click on the QR code next to me, which will take you to the Accent Opaque Learning site. Well, I gotta say it again. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, what the heck are you waiting for? If you have subscribed, make sure you click on the bell so you get notified of all the latest episodes. And if you get anything out of this episode, give us a like. Well, until the next episode, I'm Jim Kohler, Sylvamo's paper professor, and I sure hope to see you in the next upcoming episode.